Hi, Aubrey.
Hi,
So,
Dylan.
so we're just jumping in. This is
Yes, we're
part two of what we
part
were
two
doing.
of questions and answers.
Ooh, okay. Um, what were we previously kind of chit-chatting about besides pie?
Well, that was pretty much it. We were talking about pie and
We were
and
talking about pie.
Thanksgiving and just enjoying life and
Yeah,
um
the secret.
what okay I question.
Ooh, yes. Let me have it.
Tell me your first drink.
Okay, I still remember. Um, okay, so just to be clear, my first sip ever was a fuzzy navel
Okay.
from my grandparents' house. But my first like drink, like sip of like a full drink was I believe my mom's wedding.
Okay.
Um and I was maybe 11, 12, I don't remember. And I had a it's the one with Malibu cranberry and pineapple. Malibu Bay Breeze. Malibu Bay Breeze.
Oh,
Yes.
fancy.
Yes.
You said first drink, I'm going hard.
Yeah. I was like, I'm gonna try something delicious and
Excuse
great.
me.
That's
That
okay.
Heineken just popped out.
Oh, the Heineken Zero.
Heineken Zero, excuse me, y'all, but yeah,
Yes,
zeros.
the 0.0. My cat came to say hello in the middle of the like right through us.
She heard me say, "Where are you?"
I know. Um, what was the question? Or we already answered it?
Yeah, you answered it. You answered it. You told me
Okay.
when was your first drink?
Yeah. Okay. Question for you.
Well, I got an answer.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Um, I know we always preach about like, no such thing as like regrets and everything happens for a reason. It's all part of our story. But if you could go back and rewrite a moment of your life, where would you change one crucial decision that you made?
Oh. Knowing what I know now or being back in that same mindset that I was
Knowing
at
what
that
right now.
knowing what I know
Yeah.
now and being able to go back? Um I probably would have left the church a lot earlier.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
I probably would not have been a part of it and had been learning more about things that I think are more important today. I think that I'm kind of playing catch up in that realm of like I was kind of not sheltered, but like religion kind of like blocks you off from a lot of stuff, especially how involved I was in.
Mhm.
Um, that I just think that I would go back and say I want to experience the world for what it is and not for what you all tell me it is.
Yeah. Yeah, cuz religion creates a really chiseled point of view that's not, not up for
It's
interpretation really.
absolute. It's an absolute type of
Yeah.
deal, and I get it can be open to interpretation, and however you read the Bible, that's great, or however you read whatever religious text, it's great, but like it does kind of give an absolute where it's like
Yeah, it's
this is
polarizing.
how it has to be. There's no other way.
It was very scary. I used to always deal with problems with sleeping because I would stay up at night worrying about the concept of forever.
Mm-hmm.
That would scare me so much because we were told that it would be like a big party with people jamming and singing around in a circle, and that sounded terrifying to me because I was like, I'm gonna get bored of that in maybe 20 minutes tops,
That's
and I have to do that
exactly what I thought.
forever on floating on clouds.
That's exactly how I thought. And then I also thought, like, how could someone believe that, like, if they even internalize forever, how can someone believe that 80 years of your life is equivalent to forever in hell?
Yeah, and it just totally, yeah, the whole thought of heaven and hell and like those polarizing situations, in my opinion, are just so limiting belief of what there's the most what am I was out what's vastness
Values.
yeah, the mass vastness of opportunities after life.
Yeah.
So I'm reading a book right now called I'm gonna fuck it up. Between Death and Life by Dolores Cannon, or After Death and Life by Dolores Cannon. I think pretty sure it's called Between Death and Life
Gotcha.
by Dolores Cannon. Um Great book though, just basically talking about, pulling how a lot of us have to pull religion out to like come to an understanding of what's gonna happen after we die, or at least to our best understanding of what's gonna happen, and just at least get to that point of what's gonna happen when we immediately die.
Mhm.
Near death experiences, things like that. Um, People that can do past life regressions and hypnosis can get, a lot of different answers to those questions that are in our subconscious that we don't have access to in this brain. Anyway, that's what the book's about. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, it is very interesting. There's some parts that I have to like go back and forth over because it's just like, what the
A lot of
fuck?
information and a lot of different, like, wordy probably.
Yeah.
It's very it's jargon versus layman's terms, almost.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially because some of it I believe is it's just like it's an older book, so it's like out of date in this like terms, like but it's so on point, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But some of it is just kind of like, we know that's not right, but the message is there,
Yeah.
if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah.
So anyway, great book. I don't know where I was going with that though.
But no, I truly, I think it would God, yeah, it would be that or,
Oh yeah.
it would be, um, changing where I went to school my first year. I think but, like, for
Ooh.
college, I think I would have taken the, uh taken the on-campus route versus the commuter route, and,
Mm,
been more involved that way. I feel like I kind of missed a lot by being in this commuter campus, especially since I was driving an hour and 15 minutes a day.
right.
So,
I totally feel that when I used to date people that were in college, and I'm like, wow, I never really got that dorm experience and period.
yeah, I feel like that's such a pivotal moment in trying like and I get a lot of people have a lot of different ways of going about things, but I do believe that there's like a pivotal moment of like being able to interact with peers within a confined space with no other like superior above you except for like dorm advisors and things like that. I think gives you more of that freedom of trying to figure out adulthood and also just
Mhm.
trying to figure out school. Like it's a and I get not everyone can do that, and that's kind of where I was at too. I was kind of chosen between like, do I leave out of state or do I stay at like a school like this? And I wanted to stay closer to home at the time, which I don't know why.
Right. Well, I mean, you wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, but that's part of that's where the question came because it would have totally shifted your path.
Yeah, I feel like I probably would have, been in a different place. Now, I definitely would have been in a different place. I think that I would have graduated by now and been in a little bit more of a safe space, as I should say. Like, I don't feel like I'm not safe. I just feel like I'm not as well rounded as I should be right now.
Do you think that Aubrey would have gotten sober still?
We'll find out.
Well, stay tuned for the next Aubrey
No,
incarnation.
yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do. I think that there was always something pulling me towards getting sober. It was just listening to that. Um, but I did really love getting drunk too. So,
Yeah.
but I don't think that there was no way that like I believe my alcoholism would not have changed because of my circumstances in life. I believe that I still would have been an alcoholic because it's naturally there.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I get that. What's your next question?
oh, wow. If you could make a rule for one day and implement it for everyone. No, I don't like that.
Scratch it.
Yes,
I'm
scratch
just
that
kidding.
question.
Everybody give me money.
If
That would be my
you
rule.
if you had the ability to change the world
Mm.
and there was no barrier, where would you start?
Mm. Definitely hunger.
Mm,
Make sure everybody gets a full belly, and then we could talk.
I like that.
I feel like that's definitely where we should start with hunger at least, and like get everybody fed on the planet. Global food coverage.
Global food coverage. I love that.
Yeah, we could figure that out
We need to be
first.
able to feed everyone. We can, but we don't. So
Yeah,
the reality of it.
that is the truth. It is possible, and we don't.
People don't realize how much food is wasted every single year.
So sad.
Working at a restaurant, I can tell you probably half the stuff gets thrown away that people get.
Yeah. Like, half the stuff that comes into that place, half of it goes down someone's throat, half of it goes in the trash.
Mhm. Yeah.
All of it goes down my throat.
Not just the food.
The waiter too. Um, okay.
Yeah, I like that. I think that hunger is a great place to start. I do. I don't know. I might choose housing people first, giving people
Yeah.
shelter. It's a difficult
It would
thing.
okay, well, I mean, that would definitely be on my list,
Yeah.
but yeah, definitely on the probably 2nd.
Food, then housing,
Yeah, get them fed,
and
get them
clean
fed,
water.
get them some water. Everyone needs access to clean water,
Mhm.
point blank. Um, yeah. Okay, next question for you.
I'm
Um,
ready.
okay. Where is your where is the
Below my belly button.
where's one place that you go to that you really miss drinking?
Ooh. That I go to still. I that's really because I can't say anywhere out in Colorado I've drank. So I've never drank
True.
in Colorado. So like nowhere out here that I go to, I miss drinking at.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
So if I were to like go back to Michigan, um, one of my favorite like bars out there, there were quite a few. So there was the Well in Detroit, which was just this little hole in the wall type of bar,
I used
just
to love
like
places like that.
little party place, and loved, loved, loved going there because all the bartenders were super sweet and always got a lot of drinks there for cheap.
Mhm.
Um, when I lived in Ann Arbor, the place I worked at, Jolly Pumpkin, I love sour beer, so I just loved going there and having a beer, like a sour beer or something like that. And the place called Last Word out there as well was a lot of fun. They had craft cocktails, and I was a cocktail drinker, Manhattan, bourbons,
Oh
rum,
yeah.
all of that. Oh,
Yeah.
great.
So that's the places you miss.
Yeah,
Like
I just miss because they were really cool places too. They were just like chill to go to. Everyone was really nice when you went there. Like you could just talk with people. The Last Word was a little bit more bougie, and I was a wasted fuck, but I didn't care. I still loved being there, and
yeah.
they loved me too.
I love hole in the wall bars. That's always my favorite types. Like
Yeah, that's how I started bartending. Was a little hole in the wall place in Farmington Hills. It's called Bottom of the Fifth.
a bottom of the
A
fifth.
Bottom of the
Oh
Fifth.
my goodness, why does that something like that rings a bell, but maybe it's bottom of the ninth I've been to. I don't know.
If you ever, well, you've been to Michigan, so if you've ever been to Farmington
I
Hills,
don't think I have. I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
But I do think the name could have been used somewhere
Yeah,
else, like or a name similar to that.
but I did
Maybe I'm
like
thinking of
working
Top of the
there.
Green. I used to go to
Top
this
of
place
the
called
that
Top of the
sound
Green
that
in
that
New
does sound like a
Jersey.
place. Top of the Green.
Yeah. I forgot what I was gonna say though. I always do that. Oh my gosh. That's like side effects from my years of drugs and alcohol. I was just
Forget me nots.
yeah. Is that what it's called? Is that like forget me nots? Just like woo.
I don't know. I was just using a word.
I love that.
Forget. I guess it's like a forget me not, so you forget it, right?
No, I love it. I'm obsessed. It just sounds good. It sounds, childish and
Love
fun.
it.
Yeah.
We're going for that word. Forget me
It's
nots.
a forget me not.
All right.
Okay.
So, question for
Yes.
you.
Yes, Father.
The body of Christ or the blood of Christ?
Oh, blood.
No, if you
Body.
if you could go back to drinking
Mm.
and not fall back into old habits, would you?
I feel like that was part of what I learned about in Annie Grace's book was like we all try to we all get disillusioned thinking that we can alter our drinking, and as soon as you have to alter anything, there's a problem.
Mhm.
So it's like if you have to set rules for anything, then you should probably question what you're doing.
Mm,
So it's like one of those things where I don't know, knowing now what I know about drinking, I don't know if I could.
I love that.
Like I'm truly happy sober. And I know that I should worry about relapse and stuff like that, but I don't at this point. I don't. Coming up on 2 years in a couple weeks.
Right.
Yeah, we gotta go to AA and get our
Get our
little
chips.
coin, get our chips. I'll bring the dip.
I guess I'm triple dipping this year.
Oh,
And
yes.
you're double dipping.
I'm double dipping. You're gonna triple dip in January
Yeah, January
4th?
4th.
Yeah,
January 4th.
January 4th. Yeah, and me December 15th.
I
So,
I don't think I would, myself. I don't think I
mhm.
could go back, and especially now, I just, like, thinking about it, looking at it, like, every now and then, I'm like, "Ooh, that sounds so nice," and then, like, I really think about it, like, "Ooh, no, it
Yeah.
does not."
I think a better answer to your question would be yes. Because I was so in love with red wine, I my brain still wants to romanticize certain times where it's just like standing around in a group of people at Christmas time,
And just being able to have that glass.
having a glass of red wine and elegant attire and, fancy music playing and good hors d'oeuvres. It's just like that fantasy I will want sometimes, like to be able to have that glass of wine to walk around with.
Just the one, and that's all I would
Yeah,
want
just
too.
the
I wanna be able
one,
to just have one.
but I won't.
No.
And I choose not to because I'm like, "Ugh, there's so many mocktails I can have or so many other drinks. But it's just something about that allure of that, that red
Yeah,
wine glass that, when there's snow on the ground, I do miss that.
I get it. I get
Yeah.
that. I kind of miss that, like, feeling of, like, going to the I kind of like, having that connection with the liquor store person in all honesty, and,
Yeah.
like, being like, "Yeah, give me my usual,
I know. I
my Sailor
know the weird
Jerry's."
things because 'cause they're so niche.
Yeah,
It's like the alcoholics, what we do.
and don't get me wrong, like, it is drinking is bad, but, like, there
Yeah.
are some, like, aspects to drinking which can create a community, and I get that, and I don't find anything wrong with that. There are people who do truly, like, when I think about, like, people who are, like, brewers and, who, wineries, what are they called? Vineyards, places
Yeah.
like that. They create a culture for people to come to talk about things, hang out, and learn more about, like, these specific things, so I don't necessarily think it's bad, but I know I can't.
Yeah, I always think about what if I got into that industry and like what if that was my life and I like owned a farm and it was all just like, or a vineyard.
Yeah, could you imagine if that's
And then it hits you, you should get sober. What do you do? Because that's a lot of pressure telling you not to,
yeah,
you know?
that's a lot of money too. That's you're
Yeah,
like,
I
I
wonder
just
what I
spent
would
so much
do
time.
if I was in that position. That would be interesting.
Hmm.
I had a second grade teacher and it's always going to stick with me that said, because I used to always ask what if questions, and she started saying, well, then it would be a what if, and that's it. And,
Mm.
like, I thought it was hilarious up until recently when I told one of my friends about it, and he's, like, a education major, and he's like, "Wow, that's horrible." I was like, "What, really?" It was like, "Yeah, like, every time you would ask a what if question, she would shut it down with a that would be a what if." I was like, "Well, I mean, you have to remember, like, I'm a very creative little boy, like, asking what if questions out my ass
I
probably,
mean,
but I might be
the what
victimized."
if questions though definitely get out of hand and people use them wrong. So I get it. It's
I'm
like,
sure I was. I was probably like, "What if my butt itches and a goldfish comes out?"
yeah,
Like
like there are times when what ifs are. Oh, no offense, Dylan, but I
I
would.
still think about it to this
I
day,
was the
though.
question guy though. That's hilarious. I was the question guy to my uncle. So anytime when I went to California, I was so intrigued with California when I was a kid. I literally, the moment I got there, tell me about California. How are the earthquakes? What do you do if earthquake happens? Is it sunny all the time? Blah blah. And I just asked questions the whole time, and
Yes.
so he called me the question guy.
Love that.
And I was
Little
just a
question
curious.
boy.
I was just a curious person. So like,
Yes, I can definitely relate to that. Curious little boy.
mm-hmm.
Lots of what ifs.
What if
Sticks
us?
to me to this day, though. I think about like, will it be a what if? And I want to say that to sometimes people when they ask a what if question. And I'm like, well, they're not gonna get that. It's my own little inside joke in
It's
my head.
I think about it, like, at the restaurant, and it's like, oh, like, when they ask you a question, "Can I get this without this?" And it's like, "No, well, what if?" No,
No.
no. It's literally I don't care about your what ifs. Your what if doesn't mean anything anymore. I said no.
That's when I would love to be like, "Well, it's a what if, and one day I feel like I'm gonna use it and someone's gonna laugh and I'm gonna be like, "Ha! I told you I'm on the Truman Show. You motherfucker. You laughed. I'm in a simulation." I'm trying to use that to expose.
Are you trying to find if you're on the Truman Show? Well, it
I
would be the gay
do
show.
yeah, I mean, come on. I need to get a check for this. I think about the marketing, and I think about how my mirror sometimes doesn't bounce back when I look at it quick enough.
Bounce back.
In the mirror?
Like you don't bounce back?
No, it delays.
What? I need to go try this. I'll be back.
Possessed. I'm just fucking with you. I think my peripheral's fucked up.
Well, I mean, reality, yes, there is a natural refraction time between light hitting the mirror and bouncing back to your eye. So yeah, there would be a delay.
I see my eye move.
Yeah.
I'm just but no, I
You're
do.
like looking at the mirror and your
Not
eyes are
like that.
slowly turning.
Not like that. Like when I look really quickly at the mirror, I could like see my eye getting to that point, kind of like the very tail of it moving. Does that make sense? I sound so crazy.
I can see the inside of my eyes.
Yeah. What do you see when you close your eyes at night?
Dots and colors.
What color are the dots?
Green, red, blue, purple, everything.
Really?
I get,
What are
like,
the most
lines.
prominent dots? Like what
Like, what do
color?
they look like?
Is it just all different?
It's literally like everything is like a vibrant, like it's like a colorful like light show.
I always see red dots. I see red.
So like when there's light, there's like when there's like a bright light, there's red dots. And then there's like yellow in the lesser spots, and then there's like greens and then blues and then white.
Oh, okay. So I guess I should say it always starts with red dots. And then they always will transform depending on like when at nighttime, if it's dark and the lights are out and I'm like really getting to that like zen about to sleep mode, it's like crazy visual sometimes. Like because you can just let that it looks like a grid of dots, like red dots, right? And then they can kind of morph into different things.
Have you ever like seen it where like you feel like the sky is kind of moving? With,
Yes.
It seems like your like eyes are just going
absolutely.
Like this. Yeah.
Okay. Can I actually tell you that happened to me recently when I was hiking in Boulder by myself and I started saying like, I see you energy. And I started talking to it. I was like, I see you energy. I was like, because I was by myself. There was no one on that trail.
You said, I can talk to myself.
I was talking
okay.
loud, and I was just like, "This is crazy," and I was just like just laying on the ground, just looking up at it, and I could. It just the sky was just like waving, and I'm sober. Hello, like completely sober, so it was just a crazy experience. I don't know what was happening, but it could have been like from a runner's high or
anything,
all the exertion, but it was just a little fun experience for myself that I had by myself that I didn't realize
visuals
I'd be talking about now.
Eyesight is just such an interesting like feature of ourselves because like reality, none of it is really where it's at.
Yeah, who knows what optical illusion was happening, but I was really enjoying it for whatever spiritual cathartic moment I was having for myself.
Oh, cathartic. Word of the day.
Yeah, it was, you know what I mean though? Like it was just very like I was just having my little moment where I was like I could see energy and it was just fun.
I love that.
Yeah, and I was following these like specks of black in my vision. I was following them dance around, and I was like, "Come forward, come closer, dance with me." Like I'm letting too much in.
I love this. Talk to us about it.
I was having fun. Okay, it was very fun.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I talk with myself every single day. Honestly, I feel like I would go crazy if I didn't. I literally will sit there and be like talking to myself as I'm walking down the road.
Well, it's one of those things that really makes sense to talk to yourself whenever you really start to separate your spirit from your physical body. And I start to realize who Dillan is and who my soul is. And that's when I start to communicate a lot verbally because I have a lot of thoughts inside. And to not let my mind go crazy, sometimes I say, well, say it out loud. And I'll start to talk out. And if you have a thought that's like really detrimental, say it out loud and see how it feels. And you'll start to push it away or you'll accept it, just depending on how you know what I mean? Like odds are you're going to push it away if it's uncomfortable to say it. So why should you think it? So it's a good thing to like say things out loud. You know what I mean? It kind of puts it in stone. Because if if you're putting thoughts in your head or letting thoughts overwhelm you, and it's something that's gonna it's kind of reoccurring worries, why not say it? Because it's almost like putting it on paper. And like if you wouldn't want to say it out loud to make a reality, you should, find a way to get rid of that or
I'm
deal
scared
with
of
it.
failure.
Yeah, I totally understand
Love
that.
that.
Yeah, failure's scary,
Failure is scary.
but
That's always been my biggest holdback in life.
that's one of the main sources of all fears is the failure of knowledge, the failure to not know what to do with something, the failure of doing something wrong. That, you know what I mean? There's just failure comes into a play with a lot of things. So I get that. I understand your fear.
Yeah. That's probably the thing that has held me back the most in life. Or it's
Yeah.
just anxiety. I don't know, both. Fear and anxiety kind of go hand in hand
Yeah.
in a
I
way.
used to always be really afraid of spiders, and I think I don't know, maybe it was like 5 or 6 years ago, I kinda was just, like, looking at one and I was like, "You're not scary." And then, like, ever since then, I've just had a really cool relationship with spiders. I don't know why I just started
I
talking about
don't
that.
hold them, but they're there. That's how I view it. It's like I don't want to go out and reach my hand and let it crawl on me, but at
I'm
the same
getting
time,
there.
I'm
Yeah.
like, you're there, cool,
Well,
whatever. I'm not gonna kill
I
you.
shouldn't say I'm getting there, I'm there, I'm at that point
I'm
now.
not. I that. Mm-mm.
If I see them in my house, I kinda guide them to closer places that would be safer for them,
Yeah. So that
and I'm
like,
just like, "Come on, let's get on the Dylan Express, and please don't hurt me." They don't wanna bite us. I really don't
no,
think they do.
no animal does. No animal really wants to
No.
attack
And I always,
anyone.
like I feel like, energies this is not gonna make sense. Energy talks. But like, and I always make sure my energy's right before I handle any kind of wild species that is not, one of my species. And I always make sure I get my energy right. And I like that's why I feel like I've always had a good relationship with snakes. I've always loved holding like I used to have this friend, almost said his name, um, that had a lot of snakes because he worked for aquariums and did all this stuff. So I just love handling snakes, but I would always make sure I would get my energy right. I'd be like,
Snakes. My partner back in the
mm,
day had snakes, and they were the meanest things ever.
oh, that's scary.
They were horrible.
Oh,
And he's like, "Oh, it's okay. They'll just bite you." And it's like, "No, it's not
I've
okay."
never been bit by a snake, and I've handled a lot of snakes.
So he did not know how to.
Oh, well,
I
maybe they
mean,
were
he
hungry.
owned
They were
he
probably
he
hungry.
owned a lot of snakes before and
Was it
things like
good?
that. I don't know.
Oh, well, but anyway, it goes back to like that, like getting your energy right before you handle something is like the same thing with like with bugs too.
Mhm.
If I get myself in a good headspace and I'm just like no fear, no like hesitation, let them know you're here to help them and be on your way, and like no bug's really gonna fuck with you.
He said,
And you
"Bye."
can call me if they do. No, I'm just kidding. Please don't.
I
uh,
am the bug whisperer. I
um,
know. And we're about to run out of time here
Yes. So
again.
this
So,
comes to the end of the episode. Aubrey, where can people find us online?
well, they can find us at thesobergay.com.
TheSoberGay.com. And where can they find us on Instagram?
At the Sober Gay Podcast.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know why I keep looking up at the camera.
It's
Like it's there.
okay. It's gone. Until next time, stay
Stay
sober.
sober, girl.